And good morning. You're waking up to the vibe. The one and only. She's here. She's ready. Good morning, Sherry. And we're going to have a great show today. I am so looking forward to this interview. It's been a great week so far. Happy hump day, everybody. No, Sherry, you rock. Good morning, Keith Engel, Carol Natal. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. We've got some great stuff to talk about. First, I'm going to start by giving you a little bit of a background of what went on this week, and I'm not going to bore you with my details, and I'm kind of sharing my excitement here. Good morning, Nancy. Good morning, Bev. As everybody shows up here, I really appreciate your support. So I just want to say, hey, Monday, we had an exceptional meeting. I met with 6 podcasters / videocasters / now soon to become streaming hosts under the brand Wake Up to the Vibe. What does it all mean? Well, what it means is you will now watch Wake Up to the Vibe, if you're so willing to do so, at 7 o'clock. With my show, and then at 8 o'clock we'll have a sports show. At 9 o'clock we're going to have an RV destination show, and then on Monday you're going to have holistic healing show, a relationship show, a finance show, and the list goes on. A parenting show. I'm actually looking for 2 more hosts. If you know anybody, these hosts are going to be running their very own show, but under the Wake Up to the Vibe channel. So this is exciting stuff. What started out as just a fun little broadcast when COVID kicked in has turned into the Wake Up to the Vibe morning show, and now we're turning it into the Wake Up to the Vibe TV channel. We're gonna give CBS and NBC a run for their money. Let's hope so, right? I'm flipping my script. So listen, we have a great guest today. And I want to share a quick story with you. I was in Wilmington when my son came down to visit, and I went down to Wilmington with my son and Michelle. We were hanging out on the ocean, and we were having a fantastic time. We were just laughing and dancing, and my son was doing his impersonation of Fabio, and he was coming out of the ocean, and he was doing his like strut. And I know some of you might have heard the story before, but he was doing his strut, and he was reciting the line, "I can't believe it is bad." So we were just having such a good time, and there were these 2 ladies sitting behind me, and they were laughing, and they were getting a kick out of our behavior as adults. We were adulting hardcore in Wilmington on a sunny day on the ocean. And, you catch eye contact with each other, and you say, "Hey, how are you? How you doing?" And, they say, "Hey, how are you? You guys are having a good time, obviously." And one thing led to another. Okay. So we get talking, and, when I asked this individual, what is it you do? And she starts talking about podcasting and a streaming live show and her coaching and her YUMLife. Okay. And I said, YUMLife. And she's got the YUMLife koozie. So I'm like, okay, tell me about this YUMLife, because I'm Wake Up to the Vibe. So she starts telling me about YUMLife, and I start telling her about Wake Up to the Vibe. And she says, "Hey, you could be a guest on my show." And I said, "Hey, you could be a guest on my show." And so, so I just want to share the little bit of a background with you, because that's how this happens here, folks. That is how this happens here on Wake Up to the Vibe. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to bring on my guest here, the founder of YUMLife. We're going to learn all about the YUMLife and flip your script. Please welcome everybody, Ilyse Rothman. Hello, Elise, and welcome.
Good morning.
This morning.
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
I am happy to have you. I'm happy to have you. I am totally digging your backdrop there. It is so cool. It's got the vibe. It's got
right?
It's got a vibe. It's a wake up to the vibe. It's yeah. Like
I know, it's kind of got the color. See, and I'm like letting it be like the star of the show. I'm wearing the white. I'm the canvas, and
you're the canvas.
Canvas.
Let it breathe.
Exactly. Let it shine.
That's right. So the one thing that I caught on your webpage, and I used it in our little promotion, letting people know that you're in on the show today, is change your thoughts and change your life. Okay.
It's like magic.
It's not that easy.
Well, you know what? Wait, we can flip the script. We can flip our script on that one too. Ready?
Ready. It is easy.
We'll flip our script, and then I'll tell everybody a little bit about myself, and then we'll get into like the magic powers that our thoughts and our words hold, because it's like amazing.
Yeah, please.
So I'm going to flip the script on that. You know what's really hard is struggling. What's really hard is being in chronic emotional and physical pain. What's really hard is chronically not recognizing your own value. What's really hard is chronically thinking that you're not enough. What's really hard is chronically believing that you need something else to be happy. Like, that's really hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know, a lot of us don't even recognize how many moments in a day, in an hour, that we spend thinking that way. Right. That's really hard.
Yeah. And it's we're going to talk today about how do we get the conscious mind to connect with these thoughts.
Yeah. I didn't mean to dive in so deep right away, but I mean, that's really hard. We don't think about it that way. Oh, it's too hard for me to change the way I think. No, flip your script. It's really not that hard. If you know what you don't want, there's got to be something that you do want. So start using that as a springboard or a platform for what you do want. Yeah, I love this. So with that said, I'm going to back this baby up. And Elise Rothman, who is Elise Rothman? I mean, who is this person? Wow. Who am I this YUMLife?
Yeah. Who are you today?
Hi, Joe. Let me introduce this version of me today.
I love it.
Well, that's the beauty of like living the YUMLife, being able to live a life, so I'll backtrack. So I'm going to tell you how this all started, because it's a personal experience for me. I'm not just saying flip your script, get over it. No, not by any means. It's easy to say, and it's kind of fun to say, flip your script.
Yeah, I love it. Love the line. Love the line.
So for me, it really, really started at the age of 18. And I found myself paralyzed in a hospital bed with an autoimmune disease. And it was really crazy, because I think we're around the same age. I don't want to date us.
Yeah, we're playing on the same ball field.
I think so. Like the same Dead show. Like, could we have been at the same Dead show, Joe?
We've listened to the same music.
Right. So I was at a Grateful Dead show like only a few days before, dancing, selling tie-dyes, like living my life without a thought in my mind that something was like that would happen to me. And I found myself paralyzed in a hospital bed. And the doctors came to me and told me that it could take years before I might walk again, right? Words are powerful. Not it could take years before I will walk again, but before I might walk again.
Okay.
So I'm 18. I'm laying in this hospital bed. Now, I wasn't paralyzed all at once. Like, it was a crazy autoimmune disease that affects your peripheral nerves, and they just start to shut down. So one day you could feel your toes, and then you can't feel your feet, and then you can't feel your legs. And so it was a very, very terrifying experience.
And this just came out of nowhere?
Well, there's a whole history behind it, and it's kind of leads into what I do with my clients, because not only am I the founder of YUMLife and a Flip Your Script coaching method that I founded, but I'm an EFT practitioner. So I'm like a psychologist and an acupuncturist, and I don't use needles. And I help my clients and individuals get to the emotional root of what may be causing a physical ailment or chronic pain. So, but for me, so I'm laying in this hospital bed, I'm physically paralyzed, and now I'm like emotionally paralyzed, right? Like, can you imagine? You might walk again in a couple of years and you're 18. And this thought dawned on me. Like, I had this huge perspective shift, and it was that, wait a second, that's their perspective. That's what they're telling me could happen, but that's not necessarily what I believe is going to happen. And I flipped my script, and I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but I focused. I said, in 3 months, I'm going to walk out of here. I'm going to walk out of here in 3 months. I'm not going to need physical therapy. I'm not going to need a cane. I'm not going to need a walker. I'm just going to walk out in 3 months. And 3 months later, I walked out of the third hospital without a cane, without physical therapy. And I had this huge aha.
Wow.
That my thoughts matter, but not only if my thoughts matter, then everybody's thoughts matter. Absolutely. And they have magic powers. I call them magic powers.
Right. So
that was what changed everything for me.
And that's amazing. I mean, and we've seen this many, many times of people, obviously you see it sometimes on TV with celebrities and whether it be a car accident or some situation where that determination and that persistence of saying, this is not going to take me down. So your mind has so much control over your wellness and your body and your immune system and so forth, right?
Absolutely. It's like I call it like the motherboard. It's the motherboard. I have a lot of clients. So I work with all type, anyone who's really struggling in what I call chronic pain. And chronic pain is emotional pain. It's physical pain. But I really like, my specialty is autoimmune, like fibromyalgia, chronic pain. I love chronic pain because people could feel the pain and then they don't. Like, it's a really easy fit. It's easy. When you're in pain, you feel it. And when you don't have the pain anymore, you don't feel it. Emotional pain is a little bit, harder to detect, but you do feel it. But really our thoughts, where we actually feel pain in our body is connected to a thought process or a certain emotion. So our body's actually speaking to us. It's fascinating, Joe. It's like, it's so fascinating.
Yes, it is fascinating. It fascinates me how, your mind can lead you down this road of trauma because of an event that took place in your life.
Like way back when, like it doesn't even exist anymore. But in our minds, we can recreate that feeling.
Right. So, so you get out of the hospital and you move on and you're walking and you
know where I moved to?
Where?
I bought a one-way ticket to St. Thomas and flew and took the ferry over to Tortola, a British Virgin Island, because I heard that my friend from Australia had moved there. And I was like, you know what? I got a second chance. I'm going to live my life right now.
Now that I can walk, I'm out of here. I'm going to find me an island. That's a good move, because you realize how short and precious life is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to make some decisions to live your best life, right? So where does YUMLife come in? Explain YUMLife. Where does that come in?
So YUMLife has been evolving and finding its own feet and its own personality. But YUMLife came about where I started recognizing that the clients that I was working with and the audiences that I was speaking to, I'm a speaker and an author as well. I know we're kind of jumping around, and go to my website, EliseRothman.com, and find me. But
you're on Wake Up to the Vibe. That's what we do here.
I know. I haven't even had coffee yet, Joe. This is really early for me.
Sorry, I'd offer you one, but
I know. I wish I could call like coffee. Dunkin' Donuts delivers, but so That was not really an official plug, by the
way. No, it
wasn't.
It's all good. Maybe we'll get the unofficial check in the mail. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. Well, YUMLife came about because what I was recognizing, as I'm speaking to these large audiences, I'm working with clients one-on-one, and they're always like, Elise, I'm working on this and I feel like I need to get this goal. I need to lose this weight. I'm in chronic pain. I'm not happy, all of these kind of things. And what I realize is really anything that we're doing, even you and I hanging out, chatting this morning and, talking about flipping your script and all this great stuff, anything that we do because ultimately we want to have more yum-filled moments, more moments that make us want to say yum.
Yeah, I love it. I love when we met. And I told a little story before I brought you on.
I heard. I got my koozie.
She went and grabbed her koozie. I love YUMLife. I think it says a lot about, I'm a true believer of live the life you love the life you live. I think it was Johnny Cash or somebody that said that. Mm-hmm. Not positive on that, but you have to love your life. And I think YUMLife, 2 words that you put together, says it, right? I love my life.
Well, there's salt life, there's this life, there's life is good. Well, with YUMLife, my fiance and I we joke, we're like, YUMLife, it's BTG, better than good.
Better than good.
Hashtag BTG, better than good.
I like that. So how do I get my life, which is awesome, to be better than good? Mm-hmm. And that kind of walks us into flip your script. You start by flipping.
Oh, I love it. Thanks.
Right. It starts by the things that you say and your intentions and the meaning behind your words. Right. So
absolutely.
So can you kind of get, I'm going to ask you to go deep on this.
Okay. So a flip your script came about a long time ago. So it's like really flip your script coaching. And then I have created these bands as reminders about our thoughts, and we can get into that as well. But flipping your script is really, it's actually simple, but here's the thing. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Simple is not always easy. We get simple and easy confused. Actually, the simplest designs, the simplest concepts are sometimes the hardest to execute because we don't give them validity. We think it's too simple.
Okay.
Do you ever think that? Oh, that's too simple. No, I don't believe it.
I'm following you because I've often said, as a matter of fact, what I'm doing now with the streaming and everything, I said, well, it's simple, but it's kind of complicated. People go, wait a minute. It's simple, but it's kind of complicated.
Right. And sometimes, simple. Yeah, it is. I mean, here we are. If I can do it, if I can create a virtual stage, work on a virtual stage and create all this stuff, anyone could do it, Yeah. But anyway, so simple. Just remember these are some nuggets. I call them mind seeds. So I've created this, it's kind of like, so YUMLife's all about growing a life you love. And what does that mean? Why is it growing a life you love? Because the seeds of thought that we plant in our fertile mind, our mind is fertile, just like soil.
Yes.
Soil doesn't really care what seed you plant in it. But when the environment's perfect, it will grow.
Right. And that's
so whatever. Yes.
That thought is the mustard seed. I know we talked about that.
I call it the mind seed. I call it the seed of belief.
The seed of belief.
Because without belief, it sucks. Am I allowed to say sucks?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Okay.
The FCC is not watching this show. I can tell you that. You can say it's not a bad word.
Right.
Life can suck if you, especially if you tell yourself that, right?
Well, especially if you want something. If we desire something and really want something, but we don't believe it's possible, or we don't believe we deserve it, doesn't that suck? And then the bigger the desire, the bigger the want, the bigger the wish, without the belief. That just, and it goes on and on and on. That turns into physical disease.
Right. And you just said something that's super important. People sometimes think they don't deserve it.
That's a big one.
That's a big one, right? Mm-hmm. I've heard people say, well, but I don't, no, I don't have that because I don't deserve that. What do you mean you don't deserve it? You're awesome.
I'm going to tell you, they must have heard that somewhere down the line as a child.
So where does that come from, right?
Childhood. a lot of the clients that I work with, which is amazing, we call them the younger version. So like, so it would be little Joe. Little Joe and I would work together because I'm sure there's a little Joe in there somewhere that's running part of your show, and he's doing the best he can, but he's not doing a very good job.
No, that is so funny that you say that. I actually had a show called Big Daddy Little Joe. Really? With my father. Yeah, we were just goofing around on YouTube, you know, God rest his soul. But it was our way of just having a good time. We'd have a scotch on the rocks, and we'd just sit back, and we started this Big Daddy Little Joe show, and we would kind of make fun of each other. And so I was a little Joe. But anyway, it didn't come from I am the youngest of 7. And yes, they did make fun of me. But I don't think I'm scarred from it.
No, you seem like you're doing great.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. Let's put it that way. So, but people sometimes feel they're not deserving of their relationship that they're in.
Or just not deserving.
That's a strange word. Deserving.
Well, we don't come out of the womb thinking that we're not deserving. I'm just going to tell you that. That's a tip. We don't come out of the womb thinking that we're not deserving.
Yeah, you don't come out.
We learn that.
Right. You don't come out of the womb going, this sucks. You were just in this nice warm place for 9 months, and all of a sudden you're like, this sucks. I don't deserve this. Or no, this is great. I don't deserve this. By the way,
I'm not enough. I'm not enough. And what I think and what I desire doesn't matter. And and my words don't matter, and I'm not of value. We don't come out thinking that way. That's learned. We don't have to learn how to grow taller, hair on our head. You know, if you're a woman, you don't have to learn how to grow boobs. They just come automatically. Thank God you don't have to learn. But we have to learn how to love ourselves. We have to learn how to recognize our value. We have to learn that we matter. We have to learn that from someone. We have to learn how to love ourselves. We have to learn how to love others. That's something that's taught to us. You know, we can figure it out and fumble along the way, and we do. A lot of us do. Most of us do. But that's something that's taught, right? That's nurtured. And when we don't get that, 0 to 7 is a big time for that. When we don't get that at certain ages, we stop growing in that area, really. So we have a lot of 8-year-olds running our love show, or 5-year-olds or 3-year-olds trying to have a relationship with someone, but they don't really know how because they haven't been told that they're awesome and they're amazing, and that complimenting someone else doesn't take away from your value. It only adds value.
Yeah. Oh, I like what you just said. 8-year-olds running our love show. Wow. Because, and I understand what you're saying by that is.
I knew there was a little Joe in there.
The little Joe's coming out of me now. But that is a pretty powerful statement. And you're right. The development years. I hope that as this video, it's live now, but then it remains and people watch it over the weeks and the months and hopefully the years to come. But I hope there are parents of little ones tuning in and watching, because if you could change one person's mind on how they phrase things to a child, you're going
to make me cry, Joe.
No, it's so important, right?
I know it's so important. It's going to make me cry for real.
It's unbelievable. Rather than telling the child, you can't do that, go get a job, you can't do, you'll never be able to do that. Oh, what are you, dreaming?
Yeah, dream on, I'd say. Dream on, baby, dream on.
Dream on, you can do it. I always had the attitude, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, so actually, thank you for that lead in, because I wrote a children's book, and it's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and it actually focuses exactly on that. It's a conceptual work of art as opposed to a literary work of art, because it's called I Already Am.
I already am.
I already am, exclamation point, which is so important. And I'll tell you a little background on that. And I'm not going to date myself, but in my early 40s.
You already told us you were at a Grateful Dead concert.
Okay, well, fine then.
So you've passed 30 years old anyway. So
I'm past 30 because at 40, I was having a self-concept meltdown. And are you familiar with what self-concept is?
I'm not. Please teach me.
Okay, well, the concept of self, right? How we feel about ourselves, how we think about ourselves. So there's positive self-concept and there's negative self-concept. which is negative self-concept. I'm not enough. I'm stupid. How come I did that? Oh my God, what were you thinking? I can't believe you. You're never going to get this done. You know, those kind of things that we speak to ourselves.
Right.
Or there's positive self-concepts. You know what? I got this. You know, I'm growing every day. I'm expanding my comfort zone. I'm, you know, growing a life I love. I'm doing the best I can with where I am and what I know. You know, those are all positive, you know, thoughts of self-concept.
We picked the right day to have this conversation. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, it's all timing. It really, I have to tell you. And then there's the magic, and that's the magic part. I don't know how much time we have, but I really want to get into the magic part. But let me tell you about I Already Am. So I Already Am is a children's book for children, but really for the adult. And this is what I was thinking, because I was having this self-concept meltdown. I was like, because I do have a lot of things. I, you know, started my career as a graphic designer, and then I went into the culinary arena. When I moved to the Caribbean, I was a chef on private sailing yachts and got my culinary degree. I decided from the moment I walked out of that hospital that I was going to just like the world is a buffet, and I'm going to pick the things that I want to experience and love. I don't have to eat it all. I don't have to experience it all, but I'm going to live it and love it and embrace it, because I can.
The world is a buffet.
It is. And we don't have to, you know, experience everything. But, you know, people are like, oh, you're all over here. You're all over there. No, I'm choosing the things. These things have been created for me to participate in. Yay. So, okay, back to the book. So I'm having this like self-concept meltdown. Am I a chef? Am I a graphic designer? Am I a brand architect? Am I like an EFT practitioner? You know, what am I? And I thought, well, I'll just write a children's book, and then I'll be a children's book author, you know? But what the book does is it really touches on the fact that we already are everything that we think we need to be validated for, and that we think we need to grow up to be. And the little girl is, you know, the little me, but she's a little girl that goes through this process of recognizing that she's already like a chef, as she's selling lemonades and cookies at a lemonade stand, and that she already, you know, that she already is an architect as she's building Legos with her friends, you know, like, so we already are all these things. And it's really for the parent to recognize, chill out, back up, recognize what your children are passionate about, what they're loving, what they're enjoying and embracing, and encourage them to be that.
Amen.
As opposed to pushing your perspective on them because you wanted to do something and you wanted to be something. But hello, parents, your parents didn't encourage you. So break the chain, flip your script, be the parent to your children that you really wanted your parents to be for you.
Yeah, I love that. Set aside your perspective and your interests on what you want for that child, and look at them as an individual and look at their individuality, right? Mm-hmm. And embrace that and help that grow. That's going to build a stronger core inside that child. And it's
right.
It's just amazing how what you say
matters.
It matters. It can help somebody grow, or it could damage them.
Yeah, they could be full of thought weeds. I call them thought weeds. You don't want to plant thought weeds in your child's mind, you know, because they become belief weeds, right? Weeds of belief.
We have mind seeds and thought weeds.
I've created a whole idiolect.
I'm buying the children's, all this in this children's book. I'm buying this book for myself.
Well, the children's book is great. The children's book was before the mind seeds and, you know, the thought weeds, but right, okay. Conceptually it's the same. But that's why right now, one of my primary focuses is I work with families and I work with couples. But individually, which is really interesting. It's a different way of working, you know, and it's not therapy, it's coaching. I coach people to be the best, grandest version of themselves. And I teach them how to plant the seeds of thought that will help them grow a life that not only they love, but they love themselves in. And that's key, because we grow these lives that we think we're going to love, but we don't love ourselves in them. So who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, you're so many things you're saying, and I apologize if I keep throwing stuff out there at you.
No, I like what you're doing. You're, you know,
yeah, do you do you well.
you.
Well, this is coffee at my table. If we were near each other in the same state and COVID wasn't present, we would be together having coffee at my table. So that's the style of this interview. But you just made me think of something. So there was a situation in my life one time where there was a lot of tension. Okay. And tension between loved ones, friends, people around you, because when you're under emotional stress, you handle things in an emotional way, right? And it's not always the logistical, logical way. It's the emotional way, right? So I was talking to a counselor, and I'm never for the rest of my life going to forget. And I want to share this with you. She said, Joe, life is like a movie, and you're an actor in that movie, but you get to pick and choose the part that you want to play. And I said, wow, that's kind of interesting. She said, so watch the movie and choose what part you want to play in it. And if you don't like the movie, turn the channel.
Or flip your script.
Right? And it really made me think. Now when I don't like something, I think about, how am I going to play into this? What are my words going to be? What are they going to mean? But if I don't like it, I have that option of making a change. I don't have to dive in and turn it into drama and then carry that all day long. Does it make any sense?
It does, because I talk about it all the time. Like what's happening right now in the world, to me, I call it the global plot twist. It's a global plot twist. None of us expected whatever's happening now to be happening. Right. And we are all, and that's what scripting is. Flipping your script is exactly what you're talking about, Joe. It's about creating the script in your mind first. Thoughts are a script that's written for a screenplay starts with somebody's ideas and thoughts and a belief that they can do it. Belief is the key, because if they didn't believe it, they wouldn't be writing that script for the movies or for a TV series or whatever. They're writing the script, a book, a manuscript. So the belief has to be there, but that's what the script is. It's scripting your thoughts. And I'm going to give some tips. Can I share a tip or two?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I have 3 steps that I share with clients, and I use them for myself too. And so feel free to do that as well. And these are three simple steps, again, not easy, simple steps to help you flip your script. So, and the first important step is get your eyes on your own paper. The only thing, if you took only that from school, when you went to school, keep your eyes on your own paper.
Wow. I like that quote. Get your eyes on your own paper.
And what that means is this is about you. It's not about what you think anyone else is doing, because nobody else knows what you're doing. So when you get your eyes on your own paper, when I get my eyes on my own paper, only then do I have a point of reference of who I am and how I'm seeing and feeling in my world around me. Eyes on your own paper. Step number 1. Okay. Step number 2. Where are you spending your focus, your precious energy? Just as valuable. I shouldn't even say just as valuable. More valuable than money. More valuable than money.
Yes, it is.
Money is an exchange of energy, but your focus has magic powers, because what we put our attention towards, we will get more of, whether we want it or not.
That's right.
I'm not in charge of that.
That's
Buddha,
right.
Jah, Jesus, universe, source, whatever you want to call that universal law of attraction, let's say.
Power of attraction. That's right.
Whatever you put your attention towards, you're going to get more of, whether you want it or not. And so here's the question in step number 2. Are you getting an ROF? I call it return on focus, or ROE, return on energy. Are you getting the return on your energy or focus that you deserve, that's worth it? Would you invest your money in that?
Right.
Probably not, if it's not working for you. And if you're not getting the return on your energy that you're spending, then step number 3 is the toughest and the hardest, but still simple. Make some pretty clear choices based on 1 and 2, without exception. And I'm talking like without exception, like gravity without exception.
Right.
Like, because if you jump out of a plane, you better have a parachute, because you can't change your mind in between and go, I don't want to do this anymore. You're going to land, and it doesn't matter. So step number 1, get your eyes on your own paper. Is this making sense?
It's I'm focused right now.
Okay. And I'm not even using the thoughts or the words at this point. Like, we haven't even gotten into like how you're going to start reframing and rethinking. But this is, you got to get your eyes on your own paper first and start becoming aware.
Yes.
What am I, and I'm talking about where am I putting my focus? So what thoughts am I thinking on a daily basis? And what's showing up in my life?
Can I want you to go through 1, 2, and 3, because I have a story on number 1, but okay,
eyes on your own paper.
Eyes on your own paper. So an old Italian guy that I was working with in Philadelphia, he's about 80 years old, and he owned this insurance company. And I'll never forget this. I drove out there and I was doing some business with him, and we were going out to lunch. And we were talking, and I was telling him about my competitor, and they were giving me a run for my money, and I was concerned. And he said, "While," which is young man in Italian. He goes, "While, mind your own business," as in mind your own business. Don't worry about how they're running their business. Put your energy on your business, and you will get further and find more success, because that energy that you're putting on your competitor is only creating anxiety, and it's throwing you off course. Mind your own business. That's almost the same as what you're saying is keep your eyes on your own paper.
And what I mean is keep your eyes and your mind in your own thoughts, in your own, what, instead of using it, I don't want to put the whole group, I don't like to point fingers, and because really what everybody else is doing is not my business. And that's really helped me simplify my life a lot, is right. That it doesn't matter what I think anyone else is doing, because what I really know is that sometimes I don't even really know what I'm doing. I didn't get out of being human free card. So how could if anyone could tell me what they really think that I'm doing and who I really am, then I want to meet them. Right. So it's not my business what anyone's doing. And it's not even my business when I look at something and I don't agree with it, or it doesn't resonate with me. It wouldn't be a choice that I would make. I really don't judge it, because I don't know what their life is. Mm-hmm. One of the principles that I live by, like a without exception principle, is I believe that everybody's doing the best they can with where they are and what they know right now. Mm-hmm. Now that can change. Like after seeing this interview, whoever's watching this interview, I got to tell you, the other thing is you can't unknow what you now know. Now you know that your thoughts matter. Right. Now you know that belief is important, right? Now you know that you matter. So what you think has an impact and affects the life that you're living. Yeah. So you can't, turn this off and go about your day and not know that anymore. So when you start thinking something that's not working for you, or having a negative thought, or speaking negatively to someone or your child, that has an impact. And you know why recognizing one's value is so important, Joe? Because when we recognize our value, then we have more of an intentional responsibility to speak in a way that we recognize will have an impact on the world. And I think a lot of times when people get upset or angry, not only is it their younger version that's having a temper tantrum, by the way, I wanted to say that, like when we get angry and frustrated and we respond in a way, like even a parent, their younger version of them is actually having a temper tantrum. The adult version of them is not handling that situation with their child. The younger version has taken over, and they're having a temper tantrum with a kid themselves. The 2, 3-year-old versions of themselves are having a moment. So it goes deep. There's a lot of layers. So I kind of lost my train of thought, but I want to get back to the whole flip your script part. Yes. So what I did, I created the whole flip your script concept, and then coaching, one-on-one coaching. And I have programs as well. Now I have experiences that you can have, when you get a flip your script band, which is a physical reminder that if I have a thought that I don't want to grow or plant in my mind to grow, I take the band and I move it to the other wrist. And I either just stop or I say, well, if I don't want this, what would I prefer? And it doesn't matter. I don't have to know how it's going to happen, right? I don't have to know anything but that I believe that I want it and I believe I deserve it. And when I believe something is possible, then it is.
Right. Well, what you're
go ahead.
What you're saying though, and it's something that I've talked about on other shows with other guests. You're training your mind. You've got that bracelet.
That's what I am. I'm an EFT certified thought trainer.
Right, but you're training your own mind. You're teaching your clients the exercise on how they can train their mind. We talked about this where Michael Jordan has a coach, Anthony Hopkins has a coach, actors, athletes, Olympic athletes, they have coaches. So it makes sense to have a coach for your mind, which is where people like yourself and Tony Robbins and Stephen Covey and this is where the coaching comes in on how to train your mind so you can live a greater life. I think where people fall short is they don't train their mind. They just accept their ways and say, I'm too stupid. I'm not smart enough to do that. I can never do that. Or no, I'm too old. I hear that one all the time and it drives me insane. I'm too old. I can never do that. Oh, please. I'm too tired. They stop themselves right there.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, remember, everybody's doing the best they can with where they are and what they know, Joe. So they're not doing it intentionally. Believe me, people don't want to suffer. We don't want to suffer. We don't want to feel stuck. We don't want to be in chronic pain. We don't want to feel less than. But we're not taught. Remember, we have to be taught how to love ourselves, how to nurture, how to recognize our value. These are things that are imperative for our well-being, not to be a well-being, not just for well-being. And when you go to school, there's gym class, you have art class, you have music class, you have reading, writing, math, whatever. But is there a class for training the mind for learning an idiolect of thought? An idiolect is a unique way of thinking, right? An idiolect of thought that benefits us as human beings, as individuals. We don't have a class like that. We when we go to somebody to start, figuring out what we're thinking, we go to a psychiatrist or a therapist, and that is detrimental. I'm just going to say, not that psychiatrists or psychologists or counselors are anything but amazing, because they're there to actually encourage, inspire, and empower. But when a child thinks they need to be fixed because they're broken, that's the only time they then go. They go to fix their thoughts.
Oh, that's a good point, because I'm pro counselor. I've been to a couple. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've had some things I was struggling to deal with, and I needed a professional to help me with my thoughts. Right, and it worked. It was awesome. And
absolutely, as an adult, we recognize that. But could you imagine if, as a child, I bet some of the things that you're going to a counselor about were issues that you had in childhood, that if you didn't have them and you had a different thought process and a different belief system about who you are, probably wouldn't have a lot of the challenges that we have as adults that we need to go to therapy for now. And that's why I coach children. I coach families. They don't go to it. They're not coming to me because they need to be fixed. They're coming to me so I can help them recognize how awesome they are.
Right.
And I can help parents recognize what a great job they're doing and that kids are okay. And I coach them individually so they can come together as a family. I don't put them in the same room. Actually, I coach virtually, and I have been even before the global plot twist. We work just like this, get to hang out in your own home, in the privacy of their bedroom, and the kids get to hang out with me. And what they recognize is they learn how to believe that anything is possible for them. They learn that their value is so priceless and so important. They learn how to use their thoughts and set intentions and have integrity and honor and embrace their authenticity. That's what I help kids recognize in their lives. I coach them to be the best version of themselves now, because you know what happens? We just become a grander version of who we already are.
Yeah.
And then I help families too.
That's where I was going with this because
Mm-hmm.
yes, I am with you 100%. And I like what you said. Sometimes a kid goes to therapy, goes to counseling, they automatically coming out of the gate think that they're broken.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might be because of the way it was presented to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you could go to counseling as a kid, but if it's presented properly, they don't have to go there and show up like I'm broken and you're going to fix me.
Exactly.
Because that's a horrible thought, especially as a child.
Can you imagine? And the way that we interpret as a kid, I can remember interpreting certain things as a kid that weren't meant that way when the adults said it to me, but stuck with me.
Yeah. So let's talk about the adults, though, the parents. That's where the coaching really needs to take place. I almost think that needs to take place there first. I mean, what came first, the chicken or the egg, right?
I work with parents first. If a parent calls me and says, oh, my child's not doing well, he's not sitting down, he's being defiant, or she's having a moment and she's having temper tantrum, whatever it is, they're not doing well at school. I say, okay, listen, I'm more than happy to have a conversation, with your child. Let's see if we resonate. There has to be a resonance, when I work with families, because, we need to jive. We need to vibe together. Right.
That's right.
And, but I always tell the parents that we need to work together first for at least a couple of sessions so they understand the process, so they're on board. And the beautiful thing is it takes a lot of pressure off of the parents almost right away, because a parent, they start to recognize that, everything's okay. Mm-hmm. A lot of times as parents, we feel the need for our child to change because we don't like the way we feel when we're looking at that.
Right.
This is key. A lot of times we want something to change, not only in our lives, but in the whole world, right? Because we don't like how we feel when we look at it that way.
Yeah. Sometimes it's difficult to look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's sometimes,
or we're not aware.
Well, and that goes back to what I was saying about training your mind. Mm-hmm. I think everyone, and some people are in the room are going to get mad at me. Some of our listeners are going to get mad at me for saying this, but it's just my personal belief, my personal opinion. I think everyone should take time to train their mind, whether it's listening to a motivational speaker, a self-help guru, a doctor, a counselor. I think everyone should make a conscious effort on training their mind to have positive thoughts of reinforcement, thoughts of intention. Because I like your little wristband idea, because you're training your mind. Every time you look at it, your mind says, nope, flip your script, right?
It says flip your script, and the possibilities are endless. And the possibilities are endless. They really are. So of all the thoughts in the whole wide world, why are you choosing this thought right now that has not worked for you before? It's probably not going to work for you now.
That's right. The definition of insanity, right? When you keep doing the same thing over and over and you expect different results. Now, There was, I think it was Wayne Dyer. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Wayne Dyer. He's
absolutely
awesome. I love his stuff because he has a spiritual side to him. But he said this one time, and I will never forget the quote: "You can never fix a problem with the same mind that created it."
Absolutely.
Right. And if you just meditate on that line, you can't fix a problem with the same mind that created it. You've got to change your way of thinking.
You do. And we hear that a lot, but when you just don't know how, do you know how frustrating that is, Joe? And that's really why, and I'm working on more products. I'm working on more programs. I'm working on more tools to support all of these incredible thought leaders that make incredible statements and have incredible, theories and programs and they recognize that we need to change our mindset, but how? We need tools. Right? We need to be able to go to a gym to train our mind, to train our thoughts.
Right.
Could you imagine having a gym for your mind? Well, we can go and I want to create a flip your script, an FYS 30, a flip your script 30. So it's a 30-minute a day workout for your mind.
I love it.
As opposed to whatever those PF. I'm not a big gym person, but they have a lot of programs out there that have
you're not talking Arnold Schwarzenegger over here either.
Right. But having these flip your script bands that you can get at YUMLife.us, actually, they're available at the store. And they do come with an option for a 21-day experience where I actually have created what I call neutral law of attraction mind seeds that will connect you to that which you desire, right? And you get them in your inbox with a band, and every day you can plant a new seed, or every week you can use them for 21 weeks. You can use them for 21 months, however you choose to plant the seed, and the seed never expires. And a seed is an intention. It's an intentional thought or an intentional affirmation that's neutral. So it's not making you believe something that you don't believe, because there's a lot in, and we'll have to meet again, but there's a lot in that whole resistance thing. But Joe, I'm seeing that my computer's losing power. Can I jump and grab a plug, or are we almost finished?
That's all right. Yeah,
I don't want to get cut off. I don't want to get cut off, but
yeah, and I can see it's starting to get a little choppy. So why don't we just ride it out and see if we can?
Okay, sounds.
I didn't know if you froze because you were so still.
I was listening intently.
You want to mess whenever you're on a talk show. You just gave me that. You want to mess with the host? Just be very still. Just sit there like this.
Like that.
That's hilarious. So listen,
you can get the bands, though. That's important at YUMLife.us. You can get the bands. And then also there's Mindseeds, and there's a free download, a Flip Your Script guide. I have a free guide, and that's at IlyseRothman.com. And that's my name spelled out. We can put it somewhere, maybe in the comments, right?
Yes, yep. IlyseRothman.com.
And that's a free Flip Your Script e-guide. And it helps you to understand what I mean when I talk about what's a mind seed, what's a thought weed. How can you take a thought weed and say, if I don't like this, there's got to be something I like. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a weed because I wouldn't care.
Right. And listen, before, in case we do lose you, now I'm feeling like I want to, and that's all right, because we're against the clock in some ways. You posted on my Facebook wall, get ready, Joe, because we're going to talk about the code. Is there something specific that you wanted to throw out there? I'm just curious.
Well, I actually shared. So the code is the 3-step code.
Okay.
I should have called it a code, but it is the code. It's eyes on your own. I mean, that's a code. Eyes on your own paper. Where are you spending your valuable energy? And make some choices based on that, even if they're hard. And that's why I say without exception, because once you get your eyes on your own paper and you're realizing that you're blaming your spouse for not being happy, or you're blaming your job, or you're blaming politics, or you're blaming a pandemic, like you have to start making choices, or you're blaming where you live. Well, then move, right? Or then have have a conversation with your spouse and get real, or move on. Like you have to start, and I'm not telling anyone what to do, but sometimes you have to make some really tough choices because your energy is valuable.
Yeah.
And when you do that, I'm sorry, when you do that, I promise you that the universe will respond in kind. Like it might be scary as all get out that you're making this crazy decision to do something totally different, but you know in your gut that it's not working and you've done everything that you can. Take responsibility, get your eyes on your own paper, and make some pretty clear choices based on number 2 and 1, and start making changes. And I promise you, your life will become a YUMLife. You cannot live the YUMLife until you make choices that support that.
Wow. I feel like you're talking directly to me. I know you're talking to me, but we're talking to an audience.
It's for everyone though, Joe.
I know.
Thing.
I just went through this. I went through this a year ago. I packed my bags. I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina. I resigned from an awesome job that I had for 7 years. And I think people were probably going, what's he doing? He'll be back, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's scary putting yourself out there and making such a drastic change.
But the rewards are,
oh my gosh, I'm loving life.
Mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing. I have found such an inner peace and I was always a happy person, but I found an inner peace that I can't even describe. It's just it's a wonderful feeling. So
And I promise, and I know you're not supposed to make promises and whatever, but I promise, and I tell this to my clients too. I guarantee you that when we start working together, your life will change in ways that you dreamed of. You might not have believed, but you dreamed of, because once you start shifting perspective, which is your entire reality. Once you flip your script and change your thoughts, one thought will change your entire perspective, which governs your reality. So our realities are different, Joe. You and I hanging out here, we're having a conversation, but our perspectives that we're coming into this conversation with are different. So in turn, our whole realities are different, even though we're hanging out together.
Yeah, you are like a book of quotes. Your perspective governs your reality.
Yeah.
I love that line.
I put my name under these.
Go back and watch this interview and you got yourself a book of quotes. That's such a powerful statement. Your perspective governs your reality.
And that's one of the mind seeds of one of the daily mind seeds is my perspective is my reality. My perspective is my reality. So when anyone, this is a gift that I'm going to give all of you out there. When you look out into the world and you decide that somebody or something or a group or an organization or whatever it is not doing something that you think they should be doing, just remember that's your perspective, which in turn is your reality. And every single one that you're pointing your fingers at has their own perspective and is living their reality as well.
Yeah. And the other, I'm telling you, you're talking directly to me. You've set my mind straight on some things that I've been struggling with. Sometimes I sit there and go, we do this streaming thing. Nobody's paying us. We get up every morning. It's not easy getting up every morning to do this. It's not
seriously. I won't even tell you.
No, I get it. Trust me.
Cute now, but I didn't about an hour ago.
Especially if you have those nights, you might have had a few wines and a cigar the night before, and it's like, oh, good morning, wake up to the vibe. But it is so rewarding because it brings me such joy. So rather than getting up and going, oh my God, I can't believe I got to do this. Why am I doing this? Nobody's paying me to do this. Instead, I view it as what an opportunity to connect with people. What an opportunity to bring someone like yourself on the show and spread this positive energy and help people. If one person walks away from this show and says, you know what, I got to, then we lost her, and we thought we were going to, and we did. But if one person walks away from this, ladies and gentlemen, and makes a change in a sense that they are changing their script and flipping their script for the better and for the better of people around them and themselves, then this show paid off. So I want to thank you all for joining us. I think Elise is going to pop back in. Yes, she is. She's back. She's back,
I'm
folks.
on my phone. I'm on my phone, Joe.
That's okay. You're good. We have you here. I like this new layout.
Me too.
So I was just saying, I was just kind of wrapping things up that if one person was to walk away from this and change their perspective, if they were to change their script, most importantly, I hope people walk away and at least say, you know what? I really need to give this some thought. I really need to think about the things that I'm saying to others. I really need to think about the things I say to myself. If that's all they walk away with, we did our job.
Yes. And if anyone honestly wants to have a chat with me, I'm so open to have a conversation. They can reach out to me. They can go to IlyseRothman.com. My contact information's on there. And, just reach out to me. I'm happy to have a conversation, especially if you're not speaking nicely to yourself. Because it starts with us first. How can you speak nicely to the world if you're not even being nice to yourself?
That is correct. I love that. That's where I need help. Because
call me, Joe. We'll chat.
Well, it's funny, and what I love is Michelle shares a lot of these mind seeds that you're talking about. I love that she's that individual because she says it to me all the time. She'll stop me in my tracks and go, "No, Joe, rephrase the way you just said that, because that's going to become your reality. And if you keep putting that out there in the universe." And I go, you're right. You're right.
Will respond. The universe will respond. I'm going to get you a band, Joe. I'm going to send you a Flip Your Script band for you and Michelle. So it'll be a reminder.
Yes, I like it. No, that's what we need. We need reminders. And
that's important. Yeah.
So you said something earlier, and I want to touch on it real quick, and then we'll wrap things up, about investment. Where you invest your energy. What is your return? It doesn't have to be money. We're not talking investment in money.
No.
What is
more valuable? More valuable than money.
That's right. I like that. Invest your energy, folks, and know what you're expecting out of that return, because then you're going to know whether it was a waste of time or not. Well, that's awesome.
Well, right, exactly. And are you getting the return on your your invested energy?
Yeah. Hey, Elise Rothman, you are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me here on Wake Up to the Vibe.
Thank you, Joe.
And give me the name of the children's book one more time on Amazon.
I will. It's I Already Am, and it's an exclamation point, because that's the book, and it's Elise Rothman. It's on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. But wait, Joe, let's tell them about the Flip Your Script Friday. So if anyone's interested in flipping their script,
go ahead, push the show on Blue Talk.
Yeah, so it's a Blue Talks. It's a virtual stage. It's Blue Talks Flip Your Script Experience. It's on Facebook. Maybe we'll put that in the comments below. Every Friday between 1 and 1:30, we bring on a special guest to help, and they share their seeds of thoughts and success that help them flip their script in their personal and professional lives. So you're going to always leave with a mind seed, something that you can plant in your life for that week that will help you flip your script. And we have an incredible guest. Kim Seltzer is going to be on Friday, and she is a authentic relationship coach and a confidence therapist. So she's awesome. She's fun. She's from LA. I had the honors of speaking with her on a Blue Talk stage in San Diego. So I'm psyched about that. Joe, you were just on. We had a great time with you.
Great time.
I'd love to have you back. It was fun. It's only a half hour, so you can only get so much in.
That's right. Well, we did pretty good. We just crossed that 1 hour mark. So we did pretty good. But Blue Talk, Flip Your Script with Ilyse Rothman on Fridays. Flip Your Script Fridays. And you said that was 1 o'clock?
It's at 1 o'clock Eastern.
1 o'clock Eastern. And if they go to Wake Up to the Vibe,
it's a half hour.
Yes. And the link is already on the Wake Up to the Vibe wall, because I was just on the show, which you guys did a great job, and it was a lot of fun. I encourage everybody to go watch that video as well. Yeah, awesome stuff. You'll be back on. We've got a surprise that we're going to share over the next few days about what's coming our way, and it will involve Elise Rothman. So stay tuned. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag right here just yet. But we're going to have some fun. I think most of our audience knows what we're up to, but we've got some great things happening here on Wake Up to the Vibe. I'm going to close the show with you, so I'm going to hit that end broadcast button, and we're both going to disappear. Elise, thank you so much for being a part of Wake Up to the Vibe today. It was a great pleasure.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it. I love being here.
It's a good time. It's a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a blessed day. Pay it forward and let your light shine. We thank you for joining us each and every day. Make sure you like, follow, share, have a watch party. Tell your friends. Heck, now you can go buy a t-shirt. Come on, let's do this. We're in this together. You're waking up to the vibe. Have yourself a fantastic day.